I think we're back. All right, people were like, Steph, you should be centered. Move Steph's camera. Listen, don't you know how everything works in this studio? Come on, move my camera. Come on. No, we work around wherever the camera is. And yes, sometimes stuff goes to my side here. All right, here we go. We're in this place today because most people are blind to the fundamental insanity of our society. Most people are blind because parenting is typically so bad that people get separated from their gut instincts early. Hannah's here. Back to Jim.
Okay, I'm here with America's comedian, Kurt Mexican.
Yeah,
Curtis.
More Mexican than ever, Jimmy.
What's that?
I'm more Mexican than ever.
Okay. So I want to show you this. This is China targets it. So they're doing this. China targets with social credit score. One social media post that criticized the government can lose you 50 credit. So this is from CBS Morning.
Is the message that got you into such trouble?
Zhang Aija, a former school counselor, showed us the message she reposted on social media, which cost her her job, even her home.
It's incredible that these few paragraphs got you into so much trouble.
I was shocked, she said. Our country is going backwards. The post was an apparent jab at China's President Xi Jinping. Police showed up at her school to question her, and days later she was fired and forced to leave her school housing. This is the 21st century, she said, so why does it feel like a society with an emperor? In other countries, people can criticize, even mock leaders.
Wow.
Wow. So she's saying that China honestly tells you they're going to do that, unlike here, where we have a thing called shadow banning, where they don't even tell you. You just lose stuff and you don't get to know why.
So, Kurt, thank God the Western world is the beacon of freedom and rights that put that kind of stuff to shame. I mean, the iron fist of China is not going to show. Oh, wait a minute. Here it is. This is in the UK. This is not a stunt at a bachelor party. This is a real cop showing up to arrest someone for a Facebook post. You think I'm kidding? Watch this.
So,
what do you mean I can't have any alcohol?
Okay, well, I'll tell you. Okay, the time's 20 to 3, 14:40. I'm arresting you on suspicion of improper use of the Electronic Communications Network. I'm just
what?
127 of the Communications Act, okay? So you do...
Improper use of the Electric Communications Network. She's arresting this guy. Hang on, there's more to it.
May harm or defence if you don't mention one question, something which later rely on court. Anything you do say may be given evidence. Do you understand that?
So I'm actually being arrested?
You're going to be arrested, okay?
Right.
So you get to the police station.
Right.
You, okay, this is in relation to some comments that you've made on a Facebook page. Okay.
Oh, really? Oh, it's a Facebook crime, is it?
Okay.
Right.
So we need to ask you some questions about that.
Right.
Have you got anything in your pockets, Thomas?
I've got my keys. I got... No, it's made it, I think, keys.
So they send a cop. They send a cop to a guy's house because of a Facebook post he made, and now it looks like they're about to give him a proctology exam. This is
going down. Aren't they having riots right now that they're not handling? And so they do this bullshit?
They're having riots right now that they're not handling. But this is what they send a cop who forces you to have femdom sex with her. That's what it looks like.
It's like that.
What could go wrong once they take your guns away, Kurt? What could possibly go wrong?
Jimmy, that's the spoons. You ever see where they busted knife crime and they had a spoon in the display of what they collected?
So look,
the cops are a joke. They always have been, but now they're a bigger joke.
I'm not sure. Maybe she could try to headbutt your way out of this one, but I don't know. Is it still fascism when the cop is that good looking and starts blinking her eyes at you? Is that still, or is that flashism? Good look, she's flat anyway. But listen to this. This is the guy from TriggerPod, and he's going to tell you about how many times this actually happens in England. Watch this.
In Russia last year, 400 people were arrested for things that they said on social media. 400 people in Russia. Obviously, this country is very different. How many people do you think were arrested in Britain for things they said on social media last year?
Go on.
Take a guess.
I have no idea.
3,300.
Really? Arrested for what they'd said on social media?
Wow. Come on, Russia. You got to pick it up. How are you ever going to compete in the oppression Olympics? You can't even keep up with the UK? So what this means is that soon you're not going to be, we're going to have to live in a land where no one's allowed to have an opinion. And that's it, because now they're arresting people for having opinion. No opinions, no police knocking at the door. First they came for the opinionated and I said nothing because I didn't have an opinion about it.
Jimmy, they've been doing this for years in England. That's what the stat he's bringing up. They've been doing this for quite some time. It's really like very few people talk about it. I guess TriggerPod does. I've seen only a couple places talk about it. And I thought it was very strange when I first heard of it. But now in light of the riots they're having, it's really crazy looking.
What is going on with those riots? I only saw like a couple of clips on Twitter. What is it? Is it riots?
A girl was murdered by a guy who, I think he was born there, but he's like a child of immigrants. But they created the problem by not saying his legal status. You know, like they try to cover it up and it makes it much worse.
Yeah.
And also, this has been going on in England for a long time. And I've had British friends here in entertainment act like it's no big deal. And it sounded like a big deal at the time when they acted like it wasn't. That grooming gang thing, that's a real thing. And because it's such a class system that we rapidly have now, they don't care if it happens to some poor, like, you know, what they think of white trash compared to America, which is like, oh, screw you, white trash, is a lot more rigid. And so it's in the interest of the ruling class, just like they did with Jimmy Savile, when they covered up. It's all like Vaticanized. It's covered up because this immigration thing is more important than your kids because you're garbage from here. We don't care about you.
What? And so this is really because of their own version of open borders there, right? That's the kind of, is that the problem?
It's a much smaller place to be pulling that kind of thing.
Say again?
It's a much smaller place to be pretending that's, you know, America is at least based on immigrants coming. England is not. Like they're British, it's too white here. The guy who played in Scotland. Why is everybody so white here in Scotland, the most freckled penis part of the world? How could that be? Right? So it's insane, but that's all part of that Agenda 2030 bullshit. And we're going to be one homogenous, like straight out of 1984, right? With under the same rainbow flag or whatever the hell. It's just corporate bullshit. And they find new ways to let the people there know we don't care about you because you're from here.
Yeah, I never thought of it like that. Yeah, United States at least is based on immigration. The whole thing is about come here.
I argue that, at least, right? Hey, the whole thing's like based on immigration. England was based on, you know, people either colonizing or leaving because they were sick of how it was. There's a reason people left England to come here, right? Because of that rigid. If you think they don't like the poor here in England, you know, read a Charles Dickens book.
Okay, hey, there's a problem with your mic, so
he needs to pull down the gain.
Oh, bring the gain down. They say.
And is anybody on your team listening right now? Because it's very muffled.
I'm muffled. Okay. How about now?
Now it's much better.
Give me a 10 count.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
That's
6,
much
7,
better.
That's good. Thanks, Ben.
Much better.
I want my rants to be muffled.
Yeah, I just got a text from a friend saying you were a little sounding muffled. So what? Tell me about the groomer thing again, Kurt. I don't. You said
it was so. You know, it would be like Muslim immigrants, and as you know, we were all participating in blowing up that part of the world. So it's impolite when the people coming there start grooming your children to be sex trafficked. It's inconvenient to like bust that up. So that was a thing going on for quite some time. The groomer gang thing, it's not made up. It's not racist nonsense. It's a real thing, but it was happening to poor people. So screw them. That's how they've been handling it up until this point. And now you're going to see everything coming to a head. And what with that worldwide Wall Street crash, probably going to get worse.
So, I've seen it couched that what's happening over there, I've seen it couched as right-wing white supremacist racists are out there marauding around the streets, beating up black and brown people. Have
you seen a Keir Starmer side by side with Keir Starmer, that MI6 asset fake leader? It's him talking about BLM, given the peaceful but fiery treatment. And by the way, England doesn't. For England to have BLM, that's just imported American nonsense, because same Soros money, right? So that's all light touch for that. But this one is like, they will pay. It sounds like old segregation talk, but it's against their own, people from there.
So this is like their version of January 6th, like a reason to demonize.
There's real riots going on. I'm sure there's real riots. I don't doubt that people are out there messing stuff up. But if you watch, there's a lot of funny videos of, also Arabs from, how, say in Palestine, when they get ethnically cleansed and they get sent to Europe and United States, I'm sure soon, maybe with a grudge for a couple of things that happened. They're out doing stuff now too. So the women reporting, I just saw it, the women reporting on the white racist crime, all these guys surrounded her yelling "Free Palestine" and making trigger pulls, but she can't acknowledge it because they're in a delicate position at the BBC to pretend like it's all a white thing. No, it's chaos over there.
Yeah, it does seem like it's chaos. All right, Kurt, it's great checking in with you. We'll be back in a half hour. We got to go talk with Richard Wolff.
And we're going to go to Rumble.
And we're going to switch over to Rumble right now, and we're going to bring on Professor Richard Wolff, and we'll be right back. So go to Rumble.
Stand by. Let me do a little cut and paste here for you.
Okay.
And then we'll make that move, because otherwise, sometimes YouTube does something crazy. Okay. I'm glad he made those adjustments. And I think when he comes back, we'll go to a card and make sure that audio sounds good. All right, let's do this. Put that there. We're getting ready to rumble, girls. There's the link. Let me make a copy. I'll pin it. Hold on. All very technical for me. Replace the pin. Let's see. There we go. All right, ladies and gentlemen. I'll see you at Rumble. Bye.
Diamonds are a great example of how desire has been manufactured. Again, the most important thing to know about diamonds, there's two major myths. The first myth about diamonds is that diamonds are rare, and they're not. Diamonds are really common, and their value does not come from their scarcity. And the 20th century, in fact, has been the story of how diamonds have been restricted from entering the market. The second myth about diamonds is that they're connected in some intrinsic way, to love and to marriage and to courtship. And again, this is a story that was created around 1947, when a copywriter at the NWA's advertising agency in Madison Avenue, not far from here, came up with a slogan that "Diamond is forever." And the "Diamond is forever" was an attempt to make diamonds a mass consumer item.
And you say that now that the "Diamond is forever" has been seen as being the quintessential thing an ad should live up to?
Well, the Diamond is Forever has been identified by the advertising industry as the most important marketing campaign, the most effective marketing campaign of the 20th century.
So people started saying, well, if I buy a diamond, the diamond means I love you. And the more I spend, I love you that much more. Is that what it was? Yeah.
Well, the campaign actually had two goals.
Okay.
The campaign they wanted for women, they wanted to instill the idea that diamonds were a necessity for marriage and courtship. And for men, they wanted to instill the idea that the bigger the diamond, the greater the love. The problem with that is, what about all those poor, working class people who you want to get in the market, but who can't afford the really high-end ring? Mm-hmm. So they came up with this, it's absolutely brilliant strategy. They came up with the 2-month salary guideline. So it all becomes a relative thing. So even if you're not a millionaire, if you spend 2 months of your salary on a diamond, it means it shows how much you love the person you're going to marry. It was a brilliant strategy. I mean, they managed to convince men, some men, to go into debt to buy these worthless things that they have billions of sitting in warehouses. And De Beers was able to.
And I love you so much, I'm going into debt for you and for us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And most probably will still be paying off the debt when they get divorced in 2 or 3 years' time. But the other idea
That's the American dream.
themselves make themselves. They found a rabbi hole, tunnels and all. There's Jews in the walls. Isn't it bliss? The rabbinical grace soiling the mattresses. Well, let me tell you. If I were Rabbi Shmuley and diddle 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 digga digga diddle diddle dum, all day long I'd diddle little bums. If I were a Shmuley man, I'd peddle all my dildos, dreidel dildos, selling dildos with my daughter and her mum. If I were a Jewish Shmuley man, I'd be digging with a dildo in my bum. I'd wear a grotesque nose and go grab some goyim right on the nipple with a pinch. A Shabbos lap dance brace for the youngest mensch.
At this time, more than any other time, you know, revolution is necessary. It is necessary. Not only based on what has happened with the MOVE organization, you know, the babies that have been murdered, you know, MOVE adults that have been murdered, bombs being dropped on us, but past that to what is happening with all black people, so-called minority people, you know, money poor people. You know, this government, as has been said earlier, has waged war on us. But you know, something about us, particularly here in America, we don't really understand that. You know, we don't really know what war is. You know, for black people, for poor people, that people see as good, that they wasn't forced to do, that they didn't do to try to keep black people appeased, you know, and calm down so that black people wouldn't riot. A prison situation is a crystallized example of that. You can make phone calls in prison. They have movies in prison, but they don't have those things because they just want to be nice to prisoners. They have those things because they know damn well if they don't have, you know, people being able to contact their family, if they don't have, you know, facilities for people to sit there and watch movies, people are going to be frustrated, upset, and they're going to direct that frustration at them prison administrators, and they're going to have riots on their hands. You know, they're going to have people in them prisons turning them prisons out. That's why they have movies. That's why they have access to phones the way they do. And a stop to it when we don't like it, or encouraging it when it's something that's in our interest. You know, we have to call the shots. The people have to take the reins of this system and start dictating, you know, what we need, what needs to be done. And, you know, taking the initiative to do it ourselves. We can't rely on this system. I mean, you know, don't people see what's happening? Every single confrontation that MOVE people have been involved in, every single issue, you know, oppression, economic issues, every single issue facing our people, you know, is something that can be dealt with very, very simply. All people got to do is make their wishes known. All people have to do is stand up and say, listen, we're not accepting that. Unity is the key. Unity is the key to revolution. Revolution ain't nothing to be afraid of. It ain't nothing to shy away from. Revolution, contrary to what officials, you know, this system and those backing the officials running the system, you know, want people to believe that revolution means violence, you know, means blood in the street. I'm saying it can get to that point, but it don't have to be violent. You know, when people come together and take a strong stand on an issue, this government don't have no choice but to listen. Where you think they get their authority from? They don't have no power, but they do have authority to do certain things. Where you think they get it from? They get it from us, from the people. You know, They get it from us accepting the things that they do to be done to stop it. Then you have some people who want to then turn around and say, yeah, well, you know, it's the best we have, and want to make excuses. The time for excuses is over. It's over. You know, every man, woman, and child has to be involved in this revolution. Not only has to be, but is, whether you want to be or not. I mean, our babies gave their lives for this revolution on May 13th. You know, men, women, and children were murdered. And not just move babies, you know. What about all of the young men, women, you know, children 8, 9 years old shot down on the street by cops, you know, by drug pushers? I mean, you know, where do you think that mentality comes from? It comes from this system, from the mentality of this system of getting over, you know, making a quick buck, you know. I'm saying that's where that needs to be done to stop it. Then, you know, what I want people to really, really understand is that it's past time. It is past time for poor people, black people, you know, to realize that this system has failed you. It has failed you. You can't get nothing from it. And what people got to do is withdraw our support from it and start doing for ourselves. That's what we got to do. You know, how long are people going to sit back and beg, you know, this government to do what's right when for hundreds of years all you've gotten is a slap in the face? All you've gotten is this government kicking your ass. That's all. That's all black people have ever gotten from this government.
Hey, thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Subscribe by clicking on that button down there for more AM Joy and the rest of MSNBC. And click on any of the videos right here to watch the latest interviews and highlights. And you can get more videos from MSNBC for free every day with our newsletters. Just visit